Welcome to Less Trauma Bond podcast episode 20. You guys, I've been a little ghost and I have decided that I am going to get back to my podcasting and I'm going to do it every Friday and I'm going to make sure I put the episodes on the thumbnail, okay, babes? Because I can't even go back and look at what number episode we are, and we're not starting from one, babes. We're going to continue, and I'm actually going to make a playlist for all the podcast episodes, and so that you guys can easily find it if you like the podcast versus like my regular fitness lifestyle content. So anyways, you guys, Less Trauma Bond, if you are new here, is all about understanding yourself and understanding your trauma and figuring out how to heal and love yourself. It is huge. This is something I even do. I am a weight loss coach, you guys. I do coaching and consulting. And for me, I focus on healing the mind, body, and the soul. Okay. If you want to work with your girl, check the description box. It'll be linked there for you to apply to work with me. I have lost over 158 pounds. It took a lot of self-work. It took a lot of healing therapy, self-help books, a lot of things that go into it. I also have an ebook, y'all, because this is sponsored by Imperfectly Fit. So if you want to cop the ebook, check the description. There is a little surprise discount in there and get your ebook right away. Okay, you guys. So this episode is all about, are people judging you or are you judging yourself? Y'all, I get these downloads. And yesterday specifically, I was supposed to go to a boxing class. There has been a guy that has been harassing me to come to this boxing class, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I told him I was going to go last week. And I was like, I don't want to break my promise because I've told him before I was going to go and I didn't go. So I went yesterday. And lo and behold, he was not there. So during this time, I didn't know whatever time he told me it was going to start. I put it in my calendar, but babes, I don't know what's going on with the calendar, right? But anyhow, y'all, I'm like, I don't know if he said it started at 6 or 6:30 or 7. So I came there at 6 and I had to sit there with myself. Like I had to sit there with myself. I had all the time in the world and I'm like, maybe I should work out before. But I was like, why would I work out if I'm about to do a workout? So I was like, you know what? Let's sit here and spend time with self. We're outside, we're on the grass. How about we start to meditate? How about we try to start to face ourselves? How about we try to start to tap into our mental, get off of the phone and tap into our mental? So that is what I decided to do. And then my thoughts started to flow. And I got this download of, am I being judged? Are people judging me? Or am I the only one really judging myself? And this is something we have to really think about, especially in this new day and age, in this generation, where we have so many tools to compare ourselves and contrast ourselves and to judge ourselves and to put other people on a pedestal and put ourselves down. And I had to realize that I'm harder on myself than people are of me. And if you see yourself struggling, that you are very hard on yourself and others actually worship you, and not like in a weird way, not like in a God way, but they see you as great. They see you as like almost like higher than you even see yourself. That's when you have to start to look at yourself and see it, where that stems from. And that is a big thing about me with Less Trauma Bond podcast. I'm going to break it down where you can understand how you can tie it back to what is holding you back and causing you to judge yourself more. So from my experience growing up, I was judged a lot by my family, a lot. This was before the internet was huge, right? Like now that the internet is huge, there's so many different people with quirky personalities that are creative, that craft things, that stand out. Before, all I had was YouTube, and like at that time, it was everybody just doing makeup, right? Or maybe singing on here, but like it was not like a creative outlet. So I didn't come from a super creative family. Like nobody in my family is creative besides my brother. He does do like digital art. Outside of my brother, like a lot of people in my family are not really creative, besides also my dad. My dad, he was a true believer in me, but his judgment also held me back because I feel like at a younger age, I was seeking for validation a lot. And when I didn't get the validation, then I would start beating myself up. Or if I got the negative validation, I would start focusing on the negativity about myself and never focusing on the positive sides about myself. So a big thing, and I talked about this in other stories, but when I was a kid, I always dreamed to be a singer. Like, you guys, I wanted to be a singer so bad. And this is still a trauma for me that I have to unpack. I started unpacking it because I went to vocal classes and vocal lessons, and I had to sing in front of my coach. And that was so petrifying for me. Even as an adult, I started to do that at like I'm 29. Yeah, I started to do that at like 28, 27. And I was still petrified because of childhood trauma. So you want to make sure you understand why you're judging yourself. If it stems from childhood, start to unpack that, because sometimes we keep things in our mind and we need to put it on paper. Like, we need to journal. We need to release. And for me, I released through therapy, and I also released through poetry. So I've been to therapy, but I'm no longer in therapy because your girl is not going to pay for it. But I realized that poetry has always been my creative outlet. When I was going through things, I would always write poems, and it would really help me describe the things that I was going through. Okay. So when I was a child, I always wanted to be a singer, and I started singing. And when I was singing, my dad would worship my singing. Like, I was singing. I remember my first ever song was We Belong Together. So even when I still hear that song, because my dad passed away, I think 5 years ago now, I cry. Like, I want to cry if I'm not crying, because if I'm not crying, it's probably somebody's in the car. But if it's just me by myself, like, I want to cry when that song comes on, because I feel like that song is me and my dad's song. And now when I go back and listen to it, it kind of gives it a whole new meaning, that we belong together. You know what I mean? Versus back in the day, I was singing it just because I love those type of songs, those soulful songs or whatnot. So anyhow, y'all, I remember my dad recording me. He recorded me. He would play it back to me like, you're going to be a singer. You're going to be a singer. You're going to be a singer. Like, he would literally uplift me, saying that I was going to be a singer, and I would embody that every day, that I am a singer. I'm going to be a singer. That's what I enjoyed. And I would go around telling my cousins I want to be a singer, and they would tell me I couldn't sing. And so we get to a point where I started because they would say I couldn't sing, I started to become very nervous about singing in front of people. And a big thing people don't understand about singers, which I have a real respect for people that sing, because people are so judgmental for the famous people, in the sense of singing. When a person is nervous, you cannot even sing properly. Okay. And this is with anything you do. So if you are trying to do something and you're nervous because A, people are judging you, and B, you're judging yourself, like you're not confident in yourself and you're constantly beating yourself up, you cannot be good at it if you're thinking negatively. This is something I learned in life. Like, if you want to do something well, stop judging yourself and stop being negative with yourself, because negative thoughts start to control your reality. And I will prove this to you. I would have y'all try to jump from the sidewalk to the third stair and see if you will make it if you think you can't. If you're like, no, I can't do that. I can never do that. I want you to try to do it when you think you can't do it. And then I want you to try to do it when you know you can do it. Like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, it's not going to take me nothing to get that far. Make sure you try this out, because literally the mind is so powerful. I remember when I used to think that I couldn't box jump, and it was all my mind telling me I couldn't. I kept telling myself, no, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can do that. Till I said, no, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Then I was able to do it. So, of course, if you're nervous, you're not going to be able to do your best. Sometimes we are nervous and we still do well. But if we are hypercritical of ourselves, it's going to be very hard to do well because of all the self-hate, the self-doubt, and all the negativity that we're putting in our bodies and our minds. It's going to control our behaviors. Our brains control our behaviors. Even when we we are subconsciously telling our brains to do things. Like, If you think negatively, you are telling your brain to perform in a negative manner. And I'm telling you this, I've seen it, I've felt it, I've done it. And so when I would have to sing in front of these negative people and I start to feel negative about myself, I start to like turn my back. Like I used to like turn my back away from the person I was singing because I was so nervous. And before, when I was like younger and my dad recorded me and stuff, I would sing in front of my dad proudly that I am a singer, I am great at this, and he loved it. The next time that I came back, because of everything that my family was telling me, mostly my cousins, my dad was like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you singing like that? Because I was so nervous to sing, and I was like, okay, maybe I can sing like Let's Take a Bow, whatever, by Rihanna. I remember these things very clearly. And he practically was like, why are you singing like that? And mind you, his frustration and anger made me even more nervous to sing around people. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a singer anymore. I'm not going to sing in front of anybody. So it started this whole like not believing in myself. Okay. A big part of like judging yourself is not believing in yourself and believing in what other people believe about you. That is another thing, is like, if your judgmental side comes from what other people said about you when you were growing up, or when you were trying something new, or when you were starting a business, or when you were being unique, and you take their word as bond and as gold, that is showing that you don't trust yourself and you don't know yourself. And this is something that I had to learn, that by me judging myself, I don't trust myself. And that is a lack of self-love. I don't know myself either. Because if I knew myself, why would I judge myself? Why would I be so hard on myself for just being me? You know, and another thing, this also shows up. I know a lot of people too on my channel have lost weight. And, you know, when you lose weight, you can become hypercritical of yourself as well. And I think being hypercritical of yourself or being negative about yourself always stems back from childhood. And I always try to tie things back to childhood, because I've had people say, oh, I've had a great childhood, I've never had issues in my childhood. And to me, that cracks me up, because those are always the ones that have had the real issues. You know, no one's perfect. No one's had a perfect childhood. Even if they have not been through like huge traumatic events, certain things have shaped them into the person they are. And nobody's perfect. Everyone has a negative side to them. Everyone has a dark side to them. Nobody is perfect. No one is nice 24/7. No one is amazing 24/7. And another thing is, we have to release judgment, because we are not perfect. The only people that judge themselves are perfectionists. And there's no way to be perfect. When you let go of the idea of being perfect, when you invite the ability to be okay with failing, you will stop judging yourself, because you won't be afraid to fail. And you won't be afraid to fail when people are watching. And that's another thing that I had to realize with myself, of like, getting out of my own head and getting out of my own way. This can be big too, even when it comes to content creation, or trying something new, or starting a new business, or newness. You have to be okay with being bad at something until you become great at it. Like, there is no one that starts something and they're great at it right away. So if you're going to judge yourself when you first start, or you're going to judge yourself because you made a mistake, you are going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up, because you have expectations of being perfect, and nobody is perfect. Even the people you see on the internet, a big thing I even notice a lot of times, like a lot of the content creators I watch stuff, they'll be like, oh yeah, we do a little Photoshop, we'll do a little blemish remover, we'll do all this stuff, like. And it's this image online that has people thinking that these people are perfect, when there is literally no one perfect. Why compare yourself when there is no one like you? And when you start to realize there is literally no one like you, You are one of one, okay? You are that girl. You are that guy. You are unique. And the biggest flex is really being unique, because I literally feel like there's so many copycats, so many clones. And that's a big reason why I can't do like a lot of aesthetics. I tried to be the aesthetic girly for the internet. I tried, but it's not in me. It's not in me to prop up my camera and act like I'm going to go get my food out the refrigerator, even though I'm not. It's not in me to like stage this. Like, I am real. Like, I'm raw and I'm authentic. I will tell my real life stories on the internet. Like, the crazy thing about me is I'll tell my stories on the internet and people still see me on such a high level. And this is something I had a battle with myself. It's like, why don't I see myself as other people see me? I remember somebody that was in my academy DM me on Instagram, and she's like, yeah, you've been doing this business for so long. And like, it always felt like, you were like, ahead of us. And like, it seems like you already had this figured out. And I'm like, whoa, like, to other people, I look so put together. Like, I look so put together. And then to me, I feel so broken at times. Like, I feel so incomplete. I feel so disorganized, discombobulated. I'm so hard on myself that I don't even take time to even notice my accomplishments. I've accomplished so many things in my life, and I do not take the time to acknowledge my accomplishments. If you're watching this video and you judge yourself and you're hypercritical of yourself, take time to write your accomplishments. You guys, I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do that today. Write my accomplishments. And I'm going to tell you guys right now what my accomplishments are. And this is not to brag. This is to uplift myself. And so you can learn to uplift yourself as well. I have a master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree. I've graduated college 2 times. I committed to that. I have created a business, a weight loss coaching business. I have clients. Wow, like, that is crazy. I lost 158 pounds. Like, I have moved to a whole different state. I have a brand new car. I have faced traumas in my life where I had to tell my mom the traumas that she instilled in me. I had to tell my family about my SA that happened to me when I was a child. I was finally able to release that at 20 something. I should have had a trigger warning. I'm sorry, y'all. Release that at 26. 26. Like, that happened at 7. I have overcome things that I battled in silence, that I held inside, and was able to finally release those things that I hid in my life. And a big thing too, a lot of people that judge themselves are hiding a lot of things. They probably maybe grew up feeling like they couldn't tell people certain things. They couldn't be their authentic self. They had to hide things. They had to hide their personalities. They had to hide things that were going on in their lives to show up in a certain way or a certain image, or maybe to not show that they're struggling or they're down. And in life, it is okay to be authentic. Do you need to just go tell everybody in the world your business? You don't have to. I mean, I do on the internet, but you don't have to. But you have to at least be real with yourself, because a lot of times we will suppress things that we went through so badly that we almost don't acknowledge them ourselves. And if you don't acknowledge them yourself, you can't be self-aware. And being self-aware is like the biggest gift you can have in life. And I didn't know that until I went to therapy, because I swear to y'all, before I went to therapy, I literally was no lick of self-awareness in me. Like, it was like, I am the best thing on earth. Like, that happened to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I couldn't see my flaws. I couldn't see my patterns. Like, how did I move around? How did I build relationships? How did I leave relationships? And at that time, I didn't even know I was judging myself a lot of the times. And back then, I wasn't judging myself physically. When I was 326 pounds, I wasn't judging myself physically. I was judging myself internally, like me as a character. Like, can I actually sing? Am I good enough for this job? Like, am I good enough for that position? Am I like, do people actually like me? And this is crazy because I had subscribers on YouTube at that time, like over 1,000 subscribers, people that love me, like love me on the internet, love my personality. And I'm still questioning my personality. I'm still questioning who I am. And even when I think about when it comes to like partners and stuff like that, when you start dating and things like that, sometimes you seek validation from partners to tell you who you are as an individual. And that's when you know that you judge yourself and you seek validation. Because if a man has to like certain parts of you for you to like certain parts of you, there's an issue. And that's something that I personally have learned as well. Is I wrote a poem about how I really want a man to love me, not for my beauty, but for me and with inside, and love my personality and love me, not what I look like, right? And when I wrote that poem, what's crazy is at that time, I didn't realize everything's a reflection. A lot of things is a mirror effect. So if somebody is judging you for something, it's probably because you're judging yourself for it. Because a lot of times you wouldn't even know that the person is judging you about something unless you were already judging yourself about it. And or if you were confident in it, you wouldn't even care that the person judged you for it. And so it wouldn't change your judgment towards yourself. And this is a big thing I learned. When I wrote that poem, I'm like, all these men, they just like me because I'm pretty, because I'm beautiful. That's all they talk about is my looks. And I'm sick of it. I want someone to love me for who I am. And when I thought about this yesterday, or just the past days, because I had finally met a man, I thought, wow, this one really likes me for who I am. He glorifies me of how cool I am, how like funny I am, like my personality. Everything is not about looks. Like, he barely compliments my looks. Like, he'll say like, oh, I look good here and there, but it's like he wasn't overly complimenting my looks like the guys that were in my past. And I didn't hate it. I liked it. It actually started to validate me. Like, I am really cool. Like, I'm glad someone finally knows that I'm freaking cool, like a man. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm so glad he finally feels like I'm cool. Like, I'm really like, he really likes me as a person and whatever. It's like, who cares what he likes? Do you like you as a person? Do you see yourself deeper than your looks, right? Do you know who you are? Of course, he thinks you're cool because you're freaking cool. The hell? Just like y'all, of course they think you're cool because you're cool. You don't need them to tell you that. Of course you're funny because you think you're funny. Of course you're that girl because you think you're that girl. Once you start appearing as you are not judging yourself and you're knowing yourself and you're walking in your truth and this is who I am and this is what I'm about, everybody will follow suit. If they think that you're in limbo about yourself and judging yourself and insecure about yourself and criticizing yourself, people will criticize you. And even if, let's say, you're the most confident person and you let go of the judgments you have within yourself and you decide to accept yourself and accept your flaws. We all have flaws. Accept your flaws. Look in the mirror, accept your flaws. Look within yourself, accept your flaws. If you have a quirky laugh, accept it. If you like weird things or what people find weird, accept it, embrace it. Because once you find out that there's literally a niche for that, like now the internet has shown that like the quirkiest people, like I know this is one guy on TikTok, right? He is so funny and he makes videos of him singing, and to the world, he's a terrible singer, and that is making him famous. Like, they want to hear him sing because they think the singing is terrible. And he's enjoying it, and he likes to do it. There is literally people out here that don't care if you're terrible at something. Like, It's probably going to make them laugh, and it's actually probably going to make their life 10 times better. They probably just had a shitty day. Because I know I be having a shitty day, and I open up that app and I start laughing on TikTok because, baby, you're being yourself and you're a character. Like, I love it. You're different. I love it. Like, imagine if you were like all the other people, like the boring people. Like, who wants boring people? Like, if you want to elevate in life and you're normal, there's no one famous that's normal. Think about there's literally no one famous that's normal. There's no one that's a star that's normal. Like, why would somebody want to watch you on TV if you're just boring and you're normal? Like, why would anybody want to watch you on the internet if you're just freaking a normal person that has nothing going on with their life? Like, you just go to work, come back home every day, and you're like a mute button. I don't know. Like, you're strange, but not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? You're strange as in you're shutting down like a computer. I've been liking to use it a lot. But anyway, nobody wants to be a copy. Stop copying and pasting people and and that's another reason why people judge themselves, because you're trying to copy this girl and you're trying to paste it to you. Or this guy, and then paste it to you. And then you can't meet up. So now you're judging yourself, because why is there a judge if there's nothing comparing? Like, what are we judging? We need to be accepting. So really accept how far you've come, all the accomplishments you've achieved. Even if it's being able to accept yourself, being able to be yourself. Because back in the day, or when you're in high school, or you're in, junior high school, people make it seem like you being different is weird and bad. When you become an adult, you realize being different is actually an asset. It's actually an asset. It's actually a way to grow. Like it's actually a way to excel in life, because nobody wants someone that is the same as everyone else that they've seen. It's not enticing. It's not interesting. It's boring. And nobody likes boring. And who cares what nobody likes? Because you want to be who you like. And if you don't like who you are, become who you want to be. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, we don't understand how much control we have over our lives to become who we want to be. If you want to be that chic girl, next week you could be that chic girl. Like, you can go to Zara. You could go to even H&M, okay? No, be Simone, okay? You could go to H&M, right? And you can go build that look of that chic woman. You can start embodying that chic woman, because you know what? People buy what you sell. And this is the biggest thing. Is like, the reason why you're being judged is because of yourself. Because people buy what you sell. So if you show up as this woman that's put together, that's chic, whatever you want to be, that's funny, that's this and that, they're going to buy what you're selling. So show up in the way that you want to show up, who you want to be. But don't become something because other people want you to become it, or because you're scared other people are judging you. If that's just something you always want to do and always want to try and always want to switch it up, like if I wanted to go straight goth style next week and become a gothy girl, I could. I don't want to. I ain't never been gothy girl. But, and nothing against the gothy girls, because look, now they be going to those them con events and popping out. And that's a whole trend. So babes, keep it weird and be yourself. And weird is not a bad thing. And this is a big thing about me, y'all. I love weird people. And I ain't gonna lie, that's got me in some troubles. And that might be some trauma. But I like people that are different, like intriguing people, interesting people. And it might be for, like I said, traumatic reasons, because I like to get to know people. I like somebody I gotta get to know. Like, you're not just no normal human being. You a little different. But and this is friends too. Like, not just romantically, but like, I like the underdog. Like, I love someone that's an underdog, or that people like to automatically criticize or judge, you know what I'm saying? Or think they're weird, or think something's off. And the one thing about me, I'm always going to stand up for the underdog as well. I'm going to tell you, like, oh, I rock with this person. I don't care if they're strange. I like a little strange. I don't care if they're weird. I don't care if X, Y, and Z, like, you think they're weird because they're not doing what you want them to do. That's on you. But for me, I like this one. This one different. And I think for me, it's growing up as a black sheep. A lot of people that do judge themselves was the black sheep of their family. And they were never validated by their family. And so now they're constantly beating themselves up because they're used to being bullied. They're used to being freaking bullied. So they become their freaking biggest bully. And I made another video about this. Like, even growing up being big, I used to get bullied all the time. And maybe I started to miss being bullied and I started bullying myself. Like, because I tell y'all now that I am small. I just critique myself. Like, I had to correct myself last week because I started spiraling like, oh my gosh, I'm big. Da, da, da. I'm not big. I'm the same size. But I started to feel like, oh, I only worked out twice last week. Like, and I'm like, bro, you're so hard on yourself. Be happy that you worked out twice that week. Be happy you have not missed a week of working out in the last year. Like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. Be happy that you have consistently been able to have balance when it comes to your food, that you don't eat out constantly all the time like you used to. Be happy for where you came from. And even when I think about, even when I get into survivor mode, which will be my next episode, either my next or the following episode, even when I get into survivor mode, I have to remember where I came from. Like, where I'm at now. Like, when it comes to struggles, we get so consumed with the struggles, right? And we have to remember where we started and where God has brought us now. We get so wrapped up in the moment, we don't even remember where we started, how far we've come, how much we have accomplished. And this is why it's very, very important to write down your accomplishments and save this video, y'all. Save this video so you can actually write down your accomplishments, because I know I have a hard time with that too. When I be watching videos, I watch like a lot of self-development videos, and then I forget to go back and do the work. Like, oh, they said do this, do that for the business, do that, organize this. And then I just go around doing something else. And y'all, I could have a little ADHD, but I don't conform to a lot of that stuff, because it's like, if I'm already 29 years old and I have not had no medication, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. I've been functioning. If I got the ADHD, babes, I've been functioning. I'm fine. I am fine, okay? I know sometimes I be skipping around. Y'all see the topics and all that, but that's why y'all love me, okay? So learn to love yourself. Learn to accept yourself. And all the love that you pour into other people, pour into yourself as well. That's a big thing, because I've learned the most people that are so judgmental to themselves start pouring so much love into other people. Like, for me, I be thinking like, oh, dang, like, this is going to take forever. When am I going to get here? When am I going to accomplish this? This is going to happen. But then when I see someone else, I would literally tell them, like, this is what you're going to accomplish, and you're going to be able to do this, and you're going to be able to do that, and this is when it happened. And like, high key, I manifest things for people. I've done it before, because you have to understand, words are very powerful. And even the words you say to yourself is very powerful. And restructuring how you talk to yourself, because judging and criticizing yourself is negative talk to yourself. And that, like I said previously, will bring negative energy. Positive talking to yourself. So I have positive affirmations on my refrigerator. I do try to read them every day. I don't get to them every single day, but most days I do. But also feeling it, because sometimes we can go and say like, oh, this is going to happen. Or I have this, or I have happiness, and I have whatever your affirmation is, but you don't feel it. Like, I had that type of day today. I'm not going to lie. I had that type of day today. It was falling apart, and I was just not feeling the joyfulness, happiness mindset, abundant mindset today. I was not in my abundant mindset today. I was in my scarcity mindset today, and I had to realign myself with just like, I'm going to surrender. I'm just going to surrender and stop the control. I try to control everything. I try to control every single thing. And that is something I am trying to break, that cycle of controlling situations. And that could be a whole nother video about being controlling. Let me know in the comments y'all like that. Because leave the downloads of coming. But yes, y'all, let me know in the comments, what is one promise you make to yourself when it comes to this journey of healing your hypercriticism, your self hypercriticism. Is that a word? Is that a phrase? But I'm making it one today. So what promise do you make to yourself? For me, I promise to take moments to acknowledge my achievements. Whew, that was a lot, because just running down some of my achievements here, I'm like, whoa, a big thing they say on the internet, and I know they keep saying this, you never know how far you come because you keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher. But this is so true, because it's like when you accomplish one thing in life, then you start wanting more and wanting more. And then you start judging yourself because you keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher, that it kind of never feels like you can celebrate your achievements, because you're already judging yourself because you haven't hit the next achievement. So for me, I have over 2,000 subscribers. I'm almost at 3,000. So make sure you subscribe, right? I am already like, whoa, when am I going to hit this number? When am I going to hit that number? Babes, you have 2,700 people that are invested in you enough to subscribe. Like, that's not the views. Like, I get over 8,000 views a month, over that. Sometimes over 10,000 views a month. And I'm worried about, wow, when am I going to hit 3,000 subscribers? When am I going to make this amount of money? When am I going to have this brand deal? I'm judging myself. And then when other people see me, they're like, wow, you're consistent. You're doing great. Wow. You're posting again. Good job. Wow. You're monetized. Great. Like, I'm trying to get monetized. Like, wow, you have 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. Always remember that while you're trying to compare yourself to others and be where other people are, also there's people that want to be where you're at. So be grateful for where you're at. Be acknowledged for where you're at. Acknowledge all the work that it took you to get there. And have an amazing holiday, you guys. I don't know if you guys are going to be seeing this after. You probably be seeing this after Thanksgiving, because I do want to start getting the podcast extremely on the same day and be consistent with this, because the podcast, even if one person sees this and it changes their life or changes their perception, that's all that matters. And I have been reframing my mind as the person that's supposed to see this will see this. The people that are supposed to receive this will receive that. And that means that I am fulfilling my purpose in life. That means that God is using me as a vessel for other people. And that's what matters. The numbers are not going to matter. The effect on the people is what's going to matter. So start accepting yourself. Stop judging yourself. Come to the realization and acceptance that you can never be perfect, and that is okay. And to learn your flaws and love your flaws and accept them, because once you accept your flaws, no one can tell you anything about them. And I think that was a big thing when I was plus size, is no one could tell me, oh, you're big, because I accepted I was big and I moved on with my life. So now it's time to accept your flaws, accept who you are, and move forward, so no one can use it against you. So if they're not using it against you, you can't even use it against yourself. Clock it. And I'll see y'all in the next podcast episode.